Is there a global conspiracy at the root of the campaign to control climate change? Skeptics are pointing to thousands of leaked emails and documents between climate scientists as proof that the data may have been manipulated. The ranking member of the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee, James Inhofe, is calling for an investigation and joins me now. Sir, good evening. What most worries you about these emails?
Well, good evening, Simon. Nice to be here with you. Well, if you go back and pull up a speech I made 4 years ago in the Senate, the scientists were coming to me and saying that they're cooking the science, that the IPCC, that's the United Nations that started this whole thing, that they will only listen to people who are married to the idea that anthropogenic gases cause global warming. And so I went ahead and gave a talk. It lasted about an hour, and they can pull it up on my website, kind of predicting that this is going to happen. Sure enough, it happened. So you have people like Michael Mann, remember the phony hockey stick he started this thing with, and others, Phil Jones, that are trying to subdue any kind of science that doesn't show their point of view.
Well,
and it's just not there. The
if I may interrupt, sir, forgive me.
Sure.
And you're well known as a campaigner, a man who believes that humans are not the cause of global warming. I mean, specifically, if you look at the coverage we have, the allegation is that the emails indicated that they were declining to share data with fellow scientists, or they were seeking to keep other researchers with dissenting views for perhaps joining them on some platforms. It doesn't indicate that the science was wrong or that the science was manipulated.
Oh, yes, it does. It shows that the science was manipulated and that some science was excluded, Simon. Hey, let's keep in mind now, back when this thing first started, way back with Kyoto, I was a believer because everyone said that their anthropogenic gases cause climate change or cause global warming. Until we found out what it would cost the people of America when the Wharton School did their thing, MIT did their thing, it'd be a tax of about $300 to $350 billion a year. So I thought, let's really check into science. Scientist after scientist came to me. Claude
I'm sorry, I'm going to be terribly rude, Senator, and interrupt you again. What specifically in these emails indicates that the science was wrong or that the science was manipulated? Because that is not the reading that the international newspapers who have pored over them have to a man or woman come to.
Well, what I read, Simon, was that they excluded information that was given to them by scientists like McIntyre and McKittrick. They were actually on the IPCC at one time. They quit because their views were not expressed in the IPCC reports. That's what I call manipulation, Simon.
Well, they've declined to share data with... I mean, isn't there the emails are naive. They demonstrate a frustration from the limited ones that I've read, a frustration that these scientists, when they so fervently believe what they believe, cannot, in a marketing sense, get their message across. But isn't there a danger that we turn this into a witch hunt for a global conspiracy for which there is absolutely no evidence?
Boy, I don't know where you come from calling it a witch hunt. I can assure you that Kudlow wouldn't. This is something where one side of the science has been shown all the way through, and that's why these scientists, some of them have changed over, like Claude Allegra from France, like David Bellamy from UK, like Nir Shaviv from Israel.
Yeah.
They were ones who were marching down the aisle with Al Gore at one time.
I mean, the UK police are still investigating how these emails were abstracted from the University of East Anglia, one assumes through criminal activity. Why do you think that they've suddenly emerged 2 or 3 weeks before the Copenhagen climate talks start in Denmark?
Well, this happened in Great Britain. I really don't know. I just know that when the climate research unit that was using this information, there are emails that go back and forth, and one of them was Michael Mann, one of them was Phil Jones. Those are people who have been discredited years ago. You remember the old hockey stick scam that started this whole thing? That was Michael Mann when he was in Virginia.
Michael Mann is at this point, President Obama's point person, as I understand it, on climate change. He has rebutted the allegations, saying, I think that people should stop considering climate research as... he said originally that there were some areas where they should not share their data, that they should not necessarily share data, and that it was a legitimate peer review process, in essence, on the way in which this was impacting on public policy. He defends that allegation. He is not a discredited man tonight, sir, is he?
Oh, you're saying that the hockey stick wasn't discredited?
I don't know anything. I just know that he's a senior.
You didn't know anything about that?
He's a senior ranking member.
Yes,
he
has been totally discredited in his original hockey stick theory on climate change or on global warming.
We will leave it there,
so
sir.
If he's and he's the one who actually had the memo. So
Senator,
in the email.
Thank you very much for your time. Nice to talk to you, Senator James
You're very
Inhofe
welcome,
joining
Simon.
us there.